So, who was it that said, never let a good crisis go to waste? I've been trying to remember, and I haven't looked it up on the Google. I think it was some politician. If you remember, if you know, type it in the comments here. But I've been thinking a lot about crises because, as you may know, if you follow me at redcaperevolution.com, I live in Southwest Florida, where we are still recovering from Hurricane Irma. And I also have a lot of friends who were affected by Hurricane Harvey in the Houston area. And when you think about it, if you're a professional, if you're a leader in any kind of business or even in your own career, you have probably gone through some kind of crisis at some point. Well, today we're going to talk about what do you do after the hard part about the crisis is past? How do you make sure that you're learning the lessons from it, that you're preparing for the next one? Because I promise you, and I hate to tell you this because I love you and I don't want anything to happen to you, but no matter what, there will be another business or career crisis. So if you haven't been here with me before, I'm Darcy Eikenberg. I'm a leadership and career coach, and I am the founder of redcaperevolution.com, where we help you bring your superpowers to work. And crises can happen to anybody at any time. And it could be just as minor in the big scheme of things as a client getting really mad at you. Or it could be something major, like you're trying to implement a whole new project and your team is new and you're learning things on the go. Or it could be something that's part of your regular business. That might be like if you're an accountant, tax season, or for my friends who are in human resources and benefits consulting, or communication and marketing. Maybe it's toward the end of the year when everybody's trying to get everything done, the time before open enrollment, the time before a new system or project goes live. Or, like this happened to a lot of my friends and clients in Southwest Florida, in Houston, and even the west coast of the U.S. with wildfires, it might be something that's a natural disaster. But there are things in your control. There are things you can do to not only move through it, past it, and to make sure that you're better prepared for the next time. Because in reality, preparation is the best antidote to fear. Does this ever happen to you when you're really worried about something that, the worry continues and continues if you don't have a plan? It's like worrying about, is your job going to go away? Or are you going to grow and move forward as fast as you'd like to? If you have a plan, you worry less. In my coaching and in the speaking that I do, I oftentimes teach that you only control 3 things. Everything you say, everything you do, and everything that you think. That's it. That's all the control we have. So these are things you can take control of now so that you can recover from whatever disaster, big, traumatic, or just little and minor, that you might have in your business or your career, and be able to move on with strength and grace and your superpowers. Okay, so let's dive in. First, debrief. This is something that is so overlooked. When we're in the middle of a crisis, and again, I'll use examples that we've had right here in Southwest Florida. Every single business that I know has been scrambling. People who work with people have been scrambling to evacuate them, take good care of them. People who run the grocery stores or the gas stations, been working to get supplies in, and also that their employees have been affected. Some of my clients and friends, they have employees, and some of them don't have power after a week, 2 weeks, don't have a home to go back to because it's flooded. You know, our hearts go out to those folks. And a lot of those problems will take a long time to recover from. But when you're past the first initial stretch of any kind of crisis, as a leader, as a professional, you have to call the time out. You have to take the time to debrief on it. Now, to a lot of my clients, when I suggest they've got to take a step back and debrief, they freak out. Oh, we don't have time, or the staff's too tired, or that's going to take too long. Let me tell you some secrets. Here is how you can debrief after a crisis without taking a whole lot of time. First, you've got to get the right people in a room or on the phone. Schedule it. If it's scheduled, it will happen. If you think you'll just get around to it, it's never going to happen. And schedule it now, you know, within the next couple of weeks at the most of your crisis. You know, for a lot of teams, you can actually schedule the debrief for, let's say, a project or a new implementation. You can schedule the debrief as part of your overall project plan. You don't have to wait for a crisis. But first, get it scheduled. Then, decide that you're going to record it. And I don't mean on video. I don't mean make a big production out of it. Just take your phone. There are apps like Rev or Audio Recorder Pro. There are lots of apps where you can just voice record the conversation. And let's face it, let's be honest, your team has already been telling their stories, right? Why not gather them around and have the conversations together? And your job is not to judge or to criticize or to say what if or to do any looking in the rearview mirror, but just to capture the stories, just to be your guide. Ask them, what's the one thing that surprised you? What's the one thing that you're most proud of? Being the guide to a good conversation, it doesn't have to take long. It doesn't have to be all sorts of detail, and it doesn't have to suck a whole lot of time. You can do this in an hour or two. Once you have that recording, if you use an app like Rev, you can just hit one button and get it transcribed by professionals for about $1 a minute, I believe. A transcription today is actually really inexpensive. It's a great way to get a lot of thoughts out fast and then get them in your hands in a written document. Or you can use a site like Upwork, where you can hire a professional transcriptionist for, you know, just a few dollars and upload your file to them, and then they'll have it back to you usually in just a couple of days. Then you as the leader, when you get that document back, review it, take your highlighter, pull out the 1 or 2 things that are going to need follow-up, that are going to need more attention. Everything else gets what I call the frozen strategy. Let it go. You know, after a crisis, there's a million things that we think about. We have a lot of backseat drivers. We have a lot of people who are telling us, we should do this, do this. Have you thought about that? Thought about that? Blah! Your transcription will now show you the 1 or 2 things that you should focus on next. Let the rest go. Let it go, let it go. I won't sing the song for you. Grab your local 6-year-old and she'll sing it for you. Okay. Then you've got your debrief. How simple is that, right? So don't let that good crisis go to waste without capturing those lessons. Do that debrief. The second thing that you need to do to recover from a business or work crisis is you need to say thanks. Yeah, this can be hard sometimes. After everything blows up or everything goes wrong or everything just seems crazy and you just can't make sense of it, Sometimes the last thing you want to do is show your appreciation. But as a leader, as a high-performing professional, showing your appreciation in the tough times is the time when it matters the most. Tell your people thanks. Stop a stranger who's done something and thank them for the support they're giving their organization that supports your organization. Be extra conscious about gratitude during this time, and you will be surprised how far it goes and how much it helps you during a time when your head's racing with a bunch of things. Stop and say thanks. And the third thing that you can do to recover from a business crisis is to get some rest. I know it's hard when you're the leader or you have an important role to step back and take care of yourself. But the old adage goes, if you don't take care of yourself, how will you take care of everybody else around you? You know, and the reality is, our burnout stage doesn't go like this. It's not a gradual loop. It goes like this. Ramp up, ramp up, ramp up. We hit a point, and then we drop. Sound familiar? Has that ever happened to you? I know it's happened to me. So, if you feel yourself, you're at that point, get some rest before you drop. Everybody needs rest. You're not the exception. So, for your crisis you might be going through now, I feel for you. We're sending you good thoughts. Don't be afraid to ask people what they need. But for the crises to pass, and for us to grab the business and work lessons we need, debrief, say thanks, and be sure to get some rest. Okay, that's all for now. What topics do you want us to dive into here on Red Cape Revolution on our Facebook Lives? We answer questions live that come from our readers. You can put them in the comment, or you can email me at Darcy, D-A-R-C-Y, at redcaperevolution.com. And I'd like to hear your stories. Tell me what you're doing, what you've done in a workplace crisis. And it doesn't have to be as dramatic as a hurricane. It might be a client crisis, or a project that was going awry, or a project that just was so big and complex. What do your debriefs look like? What are the lessons learned? What other strategies did you use? Share them with our community here at redcaperevolution.com and ask your questions. Because whether you have a crisis or not, I'm here for you. Thanks for being here today. We'll see you soon at redcaperevolution.com. Bye for now.